Hello and welcome back. This is your retired happy friend Carolyn from Mississippi. And I thank you so much for joining today and coming to visit me at my house. If this is your first time joining, I have a retirement channel and we talk about things on our retirement journey because it is a journey. It's constantly changing. Sometimes we'll have hills, sometimes we'll have valleys, but it is constantly changing. And we share what gives us joy and happiness and purpose and pleasure on this journey. So for some of us it may be playing cards, for some of us it may be sewing or crocheting or knitting, but we're all different and we all have interests. So thank you for coming back and sharing what gives you happiness and joy along this journey. So on today's visit, we're going to be cooking pinto beans and cornbread, fresh, hot out of the oven southern cornbread. I'm going to put some sliced tomatoes with the pinto beans. I have a little bit of smoked sausage in it. So it's on cooking while I've been working on the quilted hearts. So today on the Sew With Me, I'm making another bunch of the quilted hearts. So I'll show you not as in-depth as I did on the previous video, which I'll put at the bottom which one it was, but I do show you kind of from scratch the steps in making the quilted hearts. So I got a lot of comments on our mental health day for me and Maisie. So thank you all for sharing, for letting me know that you enjoyed that video and that that it was something that you got out of it and will help you along your journey, because we are multifaceted personalities people, and we have a spiritual side, a physical side, a mental and emotional side, and we have to keep all of those in balance and blend, because if our physical side gets off balance, or our emotional side, or even our spiritual side, if we can get kind of cattywampus and out of sorts, those are southern terms, and everything gets out of balance. So we have to have balance in our lives. So let me know what you do for your mental health and emotional health days, because we all need a break and get out of our rut and our routine and do something just because we enjoy it. It gives us joy and pleasure in life. So today, my good word for today is better together. And I got this out of the Our Daily Bread devotional book. And I am really enjoying that little devotional book. So it's one can help the other up, Ecclesiastes 4:10. So I'm going to read a little section because I can't retell it as well as I can read it. But this is at the very end about stone soup. You may have heard this story, but I've heard it in different forms, but I liked the way it was in today's devotional section. Like the stone soup folktale, where the hungry traveler invites townspeople to each share one ingredient to make a delicious soup for all. The Bible confirms we are stronger and better together. God's plan is for us to live in community, helping each other and receiving help in return. So that's no fairy tale. It's the truth of life. So on the stone soup, everybody in the community, the traveler invited everybody to bring one ingredient. It might be meat, might be carrots, might be potatoes, but everybody brought one ingredient and put it together and made stone soup. And it was so much better with all of it working together than just one by itself. So that's very, very true. And sometimes it takes us a while to realize that we do need each other through this life and journey. And having contact with real people, real life people, is completely different from being in contact with people on television or some of these game shows, and I'm not knocking television and game shows, it has its place also, but we also need human, physical, personal contact with each other. Hope that makes sense. So my thankful for today, it's for the flowers, just the beauty in the world that God, the original creator, made for us to enjoy. And on the end of all of my videos, I have been posting flowers that I see in our neighborhood as spring has gotten here and different flowers have been blooming at different times. I had the azaleas early in the spring, and then the roses were all blooming. Now the magnolias are all blooming. So I'm going to put at the end of this video too, Maisie will go for a walk because it's getting late afternoon and the days are getting hotter and the days are getting longer. So we have to go walking a little bit later when it's getting close to sunset. But I'm going to include, I get off track so easily. I'm sorry, y'all. I have a thought and then I go on that thought and then I have to come back to the thought I left to go on that thought. So I'm going to show pictures of flowers and just the detail and the color of all the flowers. When you look at it really close, it's just so amazing that God could create so many different colors and forms and kinds of flowers. And so I'm going to put, please look at the orchid. On my mental health day, I went to the store and I got an orchid because I used to have some orchids and they are just beautiful flowers. If you look down into the throat of the orchid, it looks like a tiger or a lion face. It looks like an animal face, and then above that it looks like a little dove. So it's the dove and the lion. So I'm going to include a real close-up of my orchid throat so you can look at it. So let me know what gives you joy and happiness on this retirement journey. And I'm so glad you're here today. Thank every one of you for all your comments, all your support, all your understanding on this journey with my microphone issues and my sound. And you've been very encouraging. So now today is Monday and I'm doing laundry and going to put some pinto beans on to cook. So now I've rinsed the pinto beans. I have a ½ pound of beans. I only used half of the bag, so that was a 1 pound bag. And they were really clean. I didn't find any trash or debris. So now I have put them in the pan, brought it to a boil. I'm going to put the lid on and just let them sit there and soak for a little bit because these are dry beans and we have to put them on to soak. And it is around 1 o'clock. So we're going to see how long they sit there and soak. In the meantime, while the pinto beans are soaking on the stove, I'm going to go put my clean sheets on my bed and I'll take you along with me into the sewing machine and work on the quilted hearts. Now while the pinto beans are cooking, I'm going to start working on my quilted hearts. And I'm going to take you back through briefly, step by step on how to assemble them. I have a more detailed video earlier, but these are the ones that I have already finished. I have 12. Start putting the ribbon and the embellishments on. Then we'll go to the kitchen with the hot glue gun. But these are so much fun to make and they're so creative, and I never know how they're going to turn out when I start making one. So it just kind of develops, and then it also depends on how I place the heart pattern on the fabric strips that I've sewn together, whether I make the stripes go in that direction, or you can place your heart pattern on your fabric and kind of determine what color you want prominent. All of these I made out of, or I cut out of the same square, and I made a 12-inch square of strips that I quilted and put together, and then put my heart pattern down, traced it, and cut it out. So I like to have my back more of a neutral color, and then the top of it have the design. And I like to have either a predominantly pink pattern or a blue pattern or something that would be good for a boy. something that would be good for a girl. I had one lady request some for a man, so I do like to have some versatile ones on hand. So this time I'm going to use this for my backing, and this will be a real neutral. So I'm going to press it, cut my backing. This time this group of squares is going to be 8.5 by 10, because that's the size that I already have in this piece of fabric. So I'm just going to just go right up from where that's already cut and use that block. Now that I have it pressed, I'm going to put the right side down on my ironing board, get some of my scrap batting from several quilts that I have made before, and I'm going to piece it and put some of the quilt square, some of the batting squares on this backing. So I'm just going to line it up until I get it all the way covered. And I only like a little piece on that side, so I'm going to go with that. I'm not going to try to put a little piece on there. So I'm going to just scoot it down, and now I'm going to my machine and I'm going to go ahead and secure the batting. Now the only reason I'm securing my batting is because I'm using strips. If I was not using strips of batting, I would not have to do this step. So if I have one solid piece, it makes it a lot easier. And I do have some solid pieces. I'm just using up some of my scraps, and that's the good thing about this little project, is using the scraps that we already have. So I have this whole big stack, and that's only part. I also have this big basket that I keep some of my scraps in. So the little scraps that you have from a previous quilt or from a previous sewing project, you can put to use on the quilted hearts. So I'm just going to play around with my scraps and see what kind of color combination I come up with. So I decided to start with this. I haven't used this before on any of my hearts, so this will make a different look. So to start, I'm going to put the strip flat down on the batting and sew it straight down. Okay, so the next strip, I decided to use this one. So the next strip I will put face down along the edge of the first strip. Face down and stitch it down. And I am using 1/4 inch seams on it. Okay. And then the next strip will go on just like that. So now I take that strip, fold it down flat. And let's see what I want to use next. I think I'll use this one. So that strip and put it face down on the last one. And stitch it down. Okay. And while I'm sewing, Maisie is in her bed right, right beside my feet under the sewing machine. So she is curled up and taking a nice little snoozy nap. She's never far away. Okay, now we'll take that strip and fold it down. And let's see what I want to use next. I think next I'm going to come over and get, I hope this is big enough, I want to put some yellow on it. Okay, great. That is just the perfect size. So no matter what color you have, you can put it together. Coordinate your colors. I have not had a bad combination so far. So no matter what it looks like, by the time you get through with it and get the ribbon and embellishments put on it, it always comes out cute. Okay. All right. I'm going to trim this off straight. And I almost have this part, and this has yellow in it, so I'm going to use a little strip of this one. So I'm going to make it that. Let's see, I need it that wide so it can go ahead and finish the end. So this will be the last stripe, but this is going to be cute. Okay, so now I'm going to put that one on and go to the machine. Okay, now that's all I will need because I made these strips of fabric a little bit wider. All right, isn't that cute? That looks good. I have all of the strips of fabric on, so this one is not attached yet. So what I'm going to do is come down and attach this one on the end. Now I'm going to go back and do some quilting on it, and it does not matter what you do. The main thing you're doing here is just quilting it together, and by the time you get your hearts on it and get the hearts cut out, you're not going to really see any pattern. So just have fun with it, play with it, do whatever you want to do. Okay, now it is ready to cut out the hearts. Really show you that, but I'm going to hold that up, and I will take a picture and put it down, but if you can pause and take a picture. This is 4.5 by 4.5 inches. So 4.5 wide, 4.5 wide. Okay, now I'm going to take my disappearing ink pen and start tracing hearts. And I've got to decide how I want to place it. So I think with this one, I'm going to place the heart like that. I have found through making so many of them that it helps to have this long side of the heart close to one of the edges. So can't quite get that one to fit in there, but I can get that, so I can get it that way. Okay, so I'm going to trace around that. Okay, and let's see, this is going to be a predominantly blue and pink, so I'm going to place that one like that. And I hope I can get one more right here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. No, can't do it. But if I had made that a little bit bigger square, I would be able to get one more heart out of it. So this was 10 by 8.5. So a demonstration sample project, so I can show you how I got to this point. But when you're making it, I would suggest you go ahead and make it 12-inch square, and you'll be able to get more hearts out of it. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the machine and stitch around each heart. And then after I do that, I'll be to this point. After that, all you do is take your pinking shears and cut it out. And I have seen them made without pinking shears, where they cut them just with straight scissors, but I kind of like the pinking shears, but my pinking shears are getting dull, and I don't know anybody who sharpens pinking shears, so I'm either going to have to buy another pair or figure something out here. So here we go. We're going to stitch around it. And if you see, I'm using yellow thread because I had a lot of yellow thread left from the little yellow baby quilt. And this is the tricky part, going around the circles at the top of the heart. So I just go slow and turn my fabric and get down to the point of the heart. Pick up, leave the needle in, and then go around the other side. And down on this dark blue, it's really hard to see where my pin marking is. So that's another advantage of using light fabric if you have a dark marking pen, which mine is purple. Okay, so we are all the way around, and I'm not going to keep you on video doing all of it, but go ahead and do the stitching on the others, and I'll meet you back. Now I have stitched around all 3 hearts, so I'm going to take my pinking shears, and I hope with the camera on these are going to cut good, because it's been last bunch of hearts I made, it kind of chewed the fabric up some, but okay, it's cutting good this time, so that's great. I like it when things go well. Okay, so as you see, I'm just trimming right around the heart. Be careful not to cut too far and cut the actual stitching line around your heart. It doesn't matter if you cut across the sewing line on your quilting line or where you put the fabric strips together, but you don't want to cut around now there. So there's that one. So that one is a predominantly pink and yellow heart. Isn't that cute? You know, I just love making these little hearts. They're so much fun. Okay, let's try the blue one. See how different they look after you cut them out? Now they'll look even better and more different after I get the ribbon and the embellishments sewn on. So out of those fabrics, I have that one, and that one. And you would never have thought those would come out that cute. Now we're back to the kitchen, and my beans are getting soft, so I'm going to go ahead and chop up some onion and put chopped up onion, some cooking oil, and salt in my pinto beans, and let all of that cook together. I have my smoked sausage. This is some that I had from another cooking, so I have 3 or 4 pieces of that. So I'm going to put that in there. And oh, it's going to be so good. Next week, what I'm planning to make for y'all, if you want to join in and cook along with me, I'm planning to make jambalaya. I have shrimp in my freezer, and I have the bell pepper, celery, and onion, and rice. And so I'm going to make some jambalaya. Okay, I'm going to turn my burner on and let it heat up again. So the beans are getting soft and they're smelling good. My kitchen smells fantastic. A little bit of cooking oil, not a whole lot, because I am going to put the smoked sausage in. And I am going to add some more water. Since these are dry beans, they do absorb a lot of water. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to let that do its job and let it continue cooking. And it's going to be a good meal. So now I'm back to the machine while the pinto beans are cooking, and I have my ribbons out trying to decide what colors I'm going to use on which heart. So I think I'm going to put this on this heart, and I like the pink and the green. I might put some yellow on this one, but I'd like to bring out the green and those little wings. And then on this one, right now I think I'm going to put yellow and purple, because I have a little bit of purple. And on all my hearts, I put this little Bible verse script on it. I sew it in, and I'll take a picture of that and put that on there with the heart. But it's for God so loved the world, he sent his only son, John 3:16. So I always stitch that up under the ribbon and attach it some way. So let's see how these grow and develop. So this little heart I have decided to make yellow and purple. So I'm going to put my yellow ribbon across the heart, and this yarn or ribbon tends to kind of fray a good bit, so I'm going to zigzag it across and put my little script Bible verse right underneath the ribbon. Back stitch and go right across there and back stitch. Now I've been going back across my little Bible verse, and I stitch it down, but you don't have to. And when you're making your hearts, you just create it however you want to. And the way I'm doing it is not the only way. So, this is a creativity project. So I'm giving you suggestions. And these little hearts make wonderful gifts. If you're taking somebody potluck dinner, or somebody's been in the hospital, or you have a new neighbor coming in, or somebody with a baby, or a baby shower, or just a thank you, or I'm thinking of you and hope you're feeling better. And I have used it several times when I go out to eat and put my waiter's tip inside one of these cards. And I have given it to one of my doctors when I was going to the retina specialist. After my cataract surgery, I gave it to my retina doctor, who really saved my sight in my left eye. I lost all vision in my left eye. And he just sat there and looked at it, and tears came in his eyes because he knew I had almost lost my vision, and I did handwork. And he just sat there and looked at it, and it meant an awful lot to him that I had given him one of my hearts. So, not the only heart I have, but one of my quilted hearts. So, people really do appreciate that it is handmade, and every one of them are different and unique. No two alike. I have 5 children, and no 2 of them are alike. The youngest 2 are twins, and they are just as different as the oldest 2. So there you go. We're all different, which is a good thing. It'd be awfully boring in the world if there was more than one of me or more than one of you. So we're all different. Okay, isn't that cute? I just love the way these come together. This is how that one turned out. I used the pink and the green, and this one was the pink and the blue. And for this one on the top, I think I'm going to use purple. So let's see how the purple does up here. And then after, the next step is going to be to go to the kitchen with the hot glue gun, with the buttons, and I get a lot of the things I put on the hearts. Well, I used to get it at Joann's. I would get buttons, and then Hobby Lobby has a real good selection of just beads over in the beads section. And just any kind of little beads. Now, I'll finish dressing these up in the kitchen, and we will see what we find to go with them. So, I just think they're adorable. It is more fun making these little hearts, and just see how they develop, how you can bring out the pattern and the color. Okay, I hope you're enjoying this project. So now the hearts have their ribbons on, and so I'm in the kitchen with the glue gun, and these are all of the different things that I have found to embellish them with over the years. So I have a bag of crosses. I think I got those at Hobby Lobby. The smiley face buttons. This is what I got on my shopping trip on my mental health day. And this is one of the little, what do they call them? Sticky gems. So I have these little containers that I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to empty those and these, and I store them in those little containers. So this one, these are some buttons that I found somewhere that I thought were really, really cute. So I'm going to take my wire cutters and cut that shank off of the button so it will lay flat on. And I haven't glued any of these yet. I'm still thinking, but I'm thinking I wanted this one to be predominantly purple on the yellow. So I have a purple smiley face heart and a sticky gem. And this one I wanted to use the sunshine for a contrast, and then went with the blue on the other 2 little accessories. This one I kept all pink and yellow, so we have the little yellow bumblebee, a little mushroom, and the cross. So I'm getting ready to go ahead and use my hot glue gun and glue all of those down now. I have the empty envelopes that I put the envelope in the package with the card. So these are the cards that I made to put mine in. I took some of my watercolors, since I have watercolor paints and do watercolor also, and just made an abstract watercolor painting. And on my computer, I just typed out a quilted heart, handmade just for you. So design your own card on how you want to make. This is cardstock that I got at Office Depot. So I printed out on my home computer and have on the back that it was made Maggie's Neighborhood and original watercolor and my name and address. So then after I get my cards made, I take the hot glue and put a a squiggle of hot glue in there to hold it in place, and then position my heart so that it goes in the card. And then I have the envelopes that I also get at Office Depot that's just exactly the right size for this size card. So this is, I print my cards on a full sheet, and then I have a paper cutter that I cut them in half. So that's a full sheet of paper. I have 2 cards per sheet. It's really a long process, but I enjoy it. It gives me something to do since I'm not working every day. But anyway, that's my process on how I do the cards, and it has really just developed over several years. I did not come up with this, just decided to do it yesterday and doing it today. It has really developed, I guess, over the last maybe 5 years, 4 years, 5 years maybe. So just the whole process, and then you get an idea from something, and then you get another idea or inspiration. And I always say, you know, nothing happens by accident, and you can say, oh, that just happened, or oh, that was just a coincidence, but it's really not, y'all. We get inspiration, I believe, from God every day. He helps us and gives us ideas, and He is the original creator, so nothing we are doing is really original, but we do get ideas and inspiration and can build on what we have done for the last 8 years, things I learned way back in college, right after high school, my watercolor classes. I didn't think I would ever use, and it was such a waste of time. And even the math, measuring the cards and figuring things out. Nothing is ever lost and a waste of time, because we can put all of these little experiences that we've had over the years, and we can use it. So there you go. I hope you like that, and I hope you make some. So please let me know in the comments what you decided and what you did, and you will come up with something completely different and more creative than what I've done. So I would love to hear what everybody's doing. Now the pinto beans and sausage are done, so now it's time to make the cornbread. So the pinto beans look really, really, really good. And I have some rice, so I'm going to put it over the rice. So this is going to be a fabulous lunch. The only thing better than cornbread is fresh cornbread hot out of the oven, because since it's only me eating, I always make a pan, and then what I have left I put in the refrigerator, or if I have it left for a while, I'll go ahead and put it in the freezer in little Ziploc bags, and that way I can take it out and toast it whenever I need a piece of cornbread. So to make the cornbread, we're going to go over this kind of quickly. This is the recipe I have on my Southern Cornbread 101 video. But I have a 1/3 cup self-rising cornmeal. This is the White Lily, so that's the one that I usually use. A 1/3 cup self-rising flour. 1 egg. Really, really simple. 1 egg. And then enough buttermilk. And I like buttermilk. It makes it a lot drier and more crumbly if you use what we call sweet milk. Sweet milk is regular whole milk, and buttermilk is kind of a sour milk, but we don't call it sour milk, it's just buttermilk. So now I'm going to mix that up, and I want it to be kind of thin, but not too thin, kind of like cake batter. And I have used, or I have made like little pancakes with my cornmeal, and I like that too, because sometimes I just want a little piece of cornbread, and if I have a little cornbread pancake in the freezer, I can take that out. Now usually when I'm measuring, it's about a cup of buttermilk that you need for this batter, but I usually don't measure it. I just mix it up until it's the right consistency. And I have my oven, I have my iron skillet in the oven at 400 degrees, and I have some bacon grease in my iron skillet heating. So this is the consistency I want my cornbread. Okay, my oven is heated to 400. I have my melted bacon grease. I'm going to pour that in my cornbread. And I don't know if you were able to hear the sizzle, but I did get a really good sizzle. And that really helps your cornbread batter to start rising when the grease is really hot. So now I'm ready to pour the batter back into the iron skillet and put it back in the 400 degree oven. And usually it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to cook. So there's the cornbread. It's already starting to rise and cook around the edges of the skillet. So we're going to pop that in the oven and let it bake. So we are getting ready for lunch. It's going to be good. So now the cornbread is done. It's all nice and brown on top. I have my plate ready with my rice, the pinto beans, the sausage. Now we're going to get the cornbread out. So this is what you want your cornbread to look like. Nice and brown on the top. Turn it out, and it always comes out perfect out of the iron skillet when it has grease in it and it's hot. Put your cornbread batter in hot and let it stop, and it comes out perfect every time. So now I'm going to cut my cornbread and get ready to eat this lunch. And I am going to butter mine today, so sometimes I don't butter it and sometimes I do, but today I decided I wanted some butter. So I have my onion, have my tomato slice, and I'm ready to sit down and eat lunch. Now, I don't know if you can guess what I'm going to have to drink with my lunch today or not, but what goes better with cornbread and beans and rice but buttermilk? So that's my drink for today. So now I'm ready for lunch. I do have the chow chow on the table, so I'm going to give that a try with the beans. I've had a lot of comments that that's what they usually eat the chow chow with, is some kind of beans, so we'll give it a try. Okay, this looks really, really good. I have not cooked dried pinto beans in a very long time, so this is going to be a good change. And the cornbread came out perfect. Get some rice, some beans. Mmm. Very good. Dried beans and rice together and cornbread is one of the most nutritious meals you can prepare for your family. And not only that, it's very economical. You can get a whole pound of beans for probably $1, $1.50. Well, we used to. I hope they haven't gone up that much more, but the rice. So it's a very frugal, inexpensive, budget-friendly meal. And if you're on a tight budget, you can get pinto beans, black-eyed peas, the dried butter beans, lentils, all of those are make really, really good meals. I'm sitting here at the table looking out my front door, and I see the bluebird is flying, just landed on the fence. So the bluebirds are going in and out of my bluebird house.